Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by K21 Academy. Today our expert trainer will be talking about how you can model the data. So let's get into the video.
Domain-wise data or model the data 25 to 30%. This is second domain that we are going to talk about, where we do have designing a data model, develop a data model, create measures by using DAX, and optimize model performance. In the first section, we actually talk about how we will be able to work with a table as well. So whenever a user are using or users see fewer tables, they will enjoy using your data model considerably more, and a simple table structure will be simple to navigate. Why? Because of the column and table properties that are specific and user friendly as well. They are merged or appended tables to simplify the tables within your data structure. They have a good quality relationship between tables and they make sense on the basis of that as well, right? So the idea is that tables are a good factor or a good process which you will be able to use for presenting this information or showing this information, and they do have the good quality relationship while like going with your data or maybe the dealing with this data right here, the one which we are actually watching it. So I can configure the data model and I can build relationship related to that, and on the basis of that relationship I can take the further decisions. Well, apart from that, we can use a good quality relationship between tables which actually makes sense. For example, if I am relating my product with your fact sales or fact internet sales, so I can be able to make a good relationship between both of them so that they will be more interactive and attractive as well. I can configure the data model and build relationship between the tables as well, where we are already checking for the retrieved your data and clean it in Power BI. Now you will be able to do the relationship, because in many cases the relationship is might not there. If you all remember, when we have created this date table, and if I will go there, I guess previously my date table doesn't have any relationship. It was just an empty table kind of thing for us, which we will be using. But by just using a drag and drop operations, I make this table as a meaningful table. I created the relationship between both of them, right? And then we will be able to prepare and add a new tables to it as well. And then we can find it out. Now at this time, you can have different type of relationship. So this is just another factor that you can be able to find it out. Now, at this time, if you will go further, you can be able to find out, you can get the relationship between your details like that. Like we do have the sales and then order. We do have a common column which may have a common or many to many relationship can be a possibility, or one to many can be a single policy, or you can say that respective policies which has already been there, which you will be able to utilize or use whenever you are going to work with your order table and the sales table and the tables like that. So this is just a quick factor for you to understand with that. And then by using that, you will be able to utilize and proceed with that particular operation. So that's just a factor which I'm discussing with you for managing this data as well. Now, plus this point, another important part is that we can create a common date table as well, right? Occasionally, source database and data warehouse already have their own date tables. But sometimes if I just want to prepare and create my own date tables, I can be able to prepare it. These are some of the example. Like I want to identify company holidays, I can separate calendar and physical years. I can identify weekends versus the weekdays that are already there, right? So these are many factors which you will be able to find out, or some tasks which we will be able to perform by creating a common date table as well. Then this is just one of the example that you can see for creating a common date table by using a DAX formula, where you are giving the year. You can also be able to use like order date or any of these columns which are already there, and with the help of that columns you will be able to find it out as well. So you can create the years, months, week number, day of the week. For all these kind of strategies you will be able to use the DAX programming, and DAX programming plays a very important role in this particular operation as well. So this is just another option that you should understand as well. We can also be able to work with the relationship and the cardinality, where cardinality plays an important role in filtering data between multiple tables. And when we load data, Power BI looks for a relationship that exists within the data by matching column names as well. There are different type of cardinalities are there: many to one to many, one to one cardinality, many to many cardinality. Multiple cardinality operations are there, which actually tells you that how you are going to filter your information, how you are going to filter your data as well, how you are going to filter your details as well. So all these factors are basically part of your relationship and cardinal. So what kind of question you are going to get? You may get a question something like this. You are interested in creating a measure that will always calculate the total sales for 2020, irrespective of the year selected in any other visual in Power BI. So which of the following is the right way to create such a measure? So they will give you four options like that. Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for this? Think, read, and then answer. We have already did this exercise in our practical sessions as well. So the correct answer for this question is A. Total sales for 2020. Calculate sum sales order details total price comma year sales order details equals to 2020. Check for the second option. Sum calculate sales order details total price year sales order details order date is equal to 2020. Okay, some calculate. Yeah, so this is wrong. Then we don't have any function with name total. So this is again wrong. Total sales of 2020. Total sum sales. No, there is no function named total here. So C is not the correct answer. And it is not possible. No, we can create this research. That's why we have the first option, total sales for 2020. And that's where I'm using a calculate function. This is my filter. And then I'm going to work with my 2020 operations as well. So for this questions, you will be able to find out for the data modeling. In this section, you are going to cover or you are going to get the practice questions for your practice as well. Next is about developing a data model. How we can develop a data model, which is another option that you can find out. Now in this data model, we may be able to work with different type of dimension. So now we do have the dimension tables, which are stores details about business entities like products or time and are connected back to the fact tables through a relationship. So relationship is always be a very important role because now we have two type of factors which has been used. We call them the relationship or a relationship, or you can call them the facts and dimension relationship, where facts are those column which consist of the numeric details. Facts are those columns that consist of the numeric details. When I say numeric details, I am talking about those details which are required for us to like go with the data operations as well. So while dimension consists of the attributes which will be helpful for us to dealing with this data. So these are the two factors you will be able to find out. I can use hierarchies and one source to help you find detail in dimension tables as well. Like this is the one of the example of hierarchy: year, quarter, month, day. So you want to drill down onto multiple level. For the drill down approaches, you will be able to utilize this options. Now here we are working with the dimensions operations, right? Now at this point, the next part. Now what are hierarchies? What are the hierarchies? These are the hierarchies. Now this is one way where I can go to category, new hierarchy, and then this is the category name hierarchy, category name, subcategory name, and I'm getting these details or getting these informations from there. So these are just the hierarchical operations which has already been there, which you will be able to use. Hierarchy means where you are actually providing different levels so that you will be able to drill down into multiple levels as well. That's the factor that you are going to get right now. Okay, use the calculated column, which is another factor. So DAX allows you to augment the data that you bring in from different data sources by creating the calculated column. Now, calculated columns will be created for each and every column, right? And then this will be designed for the same task as well. So we can add a new column using a DAX formula. I can use a total price, sales order details, quantity into sales order details, unit price. And with the help of that, this is just an example where I will be able to, now it will calculate the total sales or total price for each and every column. That's where the difference lies between a calculated column and a measure. While a measure is the numeric column where the numbers are going to work on behalf of that, where we can going to do the aggregations, and measures are always executed or call on demand. They are always executed on demand as well whenever we are going to work with these options, right? So that's the factor that you must be aware of while going with your calculated operations. So you can, for this part, you can go to the domain 2.2, check for model number 4. For domain 2.3, suppose if you want to create measures by using DAX, that's where we can have different options. Like this is one of the options where you will find a quick measure window where you can select the calculation that you want and the fields to run under the calculation against it. So when you will go there, At this point, when I'm going to work with this part, I can go to fact internet sales. Let me click on the empty area, and I will be able to create a quick measure directly from here, new quick measure. And there you will select the respective calculation. These are the list of calculations which has been performed. And then you can select it and then you can apply it. So that's basically what we call the new quick measure or pre-calculated columns, which has been used while dealing with this data, right? So Power BI creates a tax measure for you and displays the tax. This will be helpful way to like go with your options like that. And then you will be able to call this information related to that as well. Okay, now the next important factor that we will be aware of, we call them the context. Context is there are three type of context that we can have. The first context we call them the, this is known as a single context where you are not providing or you are not giving any filter or any information. It is the initial structure that you will be able to find out. You can view the total sales with different requirements. These two are known as your filter context. These are known as current context, and these two are known as filter context, where you will be able to write your commands or you will be able to provide your commands so that you can be able to capture these details and then you can show your information like that. So the idea is that we can also be able to go with the context. Different type of contexts are there. One of the example for this context is known as your filter context. For example, if I only want to show the European sales, I may have created it somewhere. So currently whatever output that you are checking, that is the initial source. But what if I want to get the information about European sales, or I want to only capture a European sales where I will only see the European sales data, right? So I can do like this. I can go there, click on a new measure, just typing. This is known as filter context. European sales, calculate total sales, dim sales territory, sales territory group equals Europe. Now, when you will go there to the sales territory country, you do have the European sales now. Do one thing, remove the sales amount and add the European sales. It will only show you data for European country, which is your UK, Germany, and France. This is known as filter context. We can also be able to create semi-additive measures as well, which is another factor which you will be able to utilize. Because situations where you don't want a standard evaluation behavior in Power BI, you can use calculate and or user relationship functions. And standard measures are simple concepts where they might use the sum, average, min, and max functions as well. And then I can go for the last inventory count equals to calculate some warehouse inventory count and then last date. So this will give you the last inventory count. We have already did one of these examples. So this approach will stop the sum from crossing all date. Instead, you will only use the sum on the last date of the time period, so that you will only be able to see the last date of that data as well. This is another options. You can go and check it to the model 5. Now about your optimizing model, this is about the reviewing the performance of measures relationship. So if your data models has multiple tables, complex relationship, intricate calculations, multiple visuals, and redundant data, measure is a on demand process. Suppose if you want to do some custom calculations and you want to use that calculations on demand, because a measure never take the physical space, it takes the virtual space. While a calculated column, suppose if you want to get column by column data, so a calculated column, it always captures the space as well. Reason being because it's a physical entry there. While measures are something which are somehow virtual, or you can say that logical, which will be call on demand. It never ever keep your, or it never ever takes the memory. It basically follow an in-memory concept. Now, till the time you want your measure to be execute will give you the output from the calculations, and once your task has been done, right, then it will actually automatically delogates itself. So these two are two different factors. While calculated columns are those which are actually takes the physical space, and with that physical space, they're actually going to increase the size of your file as well. That's where we generally find it out. Now we can remove the unnecessary rows and columns. We have already checked this up in one of the example. I have shown you that where you can remove columns or maybe remove rows. If you want to remove some unnecessary rows, you can do that. If you want to remove some columns, you can do that, or remove the columns as well. Plus, we can also identify the cardinality levels in columns where we can display the statistics about the distinct values, unique items, and there are many factors which are part of it. Plus, we can also be able to create and manage the aggregations as well, where we can create aggregation in different ways, and each method will yield the same result. Like suppose if I want to access to the database, and I can create a table with the aggregation and then import that table into Power BI desktop as well. So here we can give access to the database, and I can create a view for the aggregation and then import that view into Power BI desktop. And there are many other factors are there which you will be able to use while creating the aggregations, because aggregations will only plus first it will just decrease the number of spaces, the number of records, and then it will give you a good performance on comparison to the other approaches. And this is how this actually been done right here, the aggregation part. You can be able to find out your aggregation in any of your fact columns or fact tables by just right clicking on it, and there is an option there for manage aggregations, where you will be able to manage these aggregations as well. This is just another factor you can be able to find it out.
So, guys, this was our expert from Team K21 Academy. And if in case you missed upon any concept, or if you want to dive deeper about the concepts discussed, then we have something really, really special for you. We have our free class on Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Certification for Beginners. In this free class, we'll be learning about what is data analyst role, why and who should be learning data analyst, how can companies benefit from data analysis, and why is it so much on demand? You'll be learning about the whole Power BI architecture. You'll be getting hands-on labs, job opportunities, and market trends and whatnot. So, in order to register to this free class, all you have to do is just log on to k21academy.com /DA10002, and after that you'll be seeing this kind of interface. You just have to click on book your free seats now. Select an event date, your name, enter your email, your phone number, and click on Yes, Save My Seat. Moving ahead, you'll be seeing this kind of URL. So you just have to save it, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, keep learning.